I feel like a lot of people are looking down writing because of AI. But also as a part-time detective novelist, I have to ask, is AI really that amazing as people think? Do we still need novelists? Can AI actually write a long-form detective story? So I asked Gemini and Kimi 3 to write my new murder mysteries. I gave both models the same task. I told them the premise, I told them who the killer was, I told them what clue needed to be hidden in the early chapter that they can pay off later. I want to see if they can really carry on the long-form detective story. Not a short story, but something with real lines, real misdirection, and real ending. And they try, but they fail in very specific way. And here are 5 biggest problems I keep running into. First, the most important and obvious is the memory. You would think if you tell AI in the chapter 1, the killer is a quiet grown man and he hiding a scar on his left hand with a gloves, that AI will remember. It doesn't. After around 2,000 words, things start disappearing. The AI forgot who the killer was, it forgot which clue I asked them to plan, and it forgot what actually happened. I told Gemini that Zhao family ran a cross-border money laundry business, but unfortunately it forgot right after the first chapter. And the second problem, AI is too blunt. I do not mean straightforward, I mean it writes like a sledgehammer. Here's a real example. In the chapter 1, I needed the killer, who I want to hide in good guy for now, to make a first normal impression to the detective. Just a friend local guide, maybe a little too helpful but nothing suspicious. And Kimi 3 writes something like, the guy seemed kinda honest, but behind his gentle eyes, there's a killing intent. I was like, what? Killing intent. It's just too much, too obvious, too bland in the first chapter. How would the detective know that on the first impression? And how would I keep writing this when actually the reader already knew who the killer is? But you know what? AI just cannot help himself because it knows who the killer was. So it wrote like everybody else has already read the end. A good mysteries writer, they hide. But the AI advertise. And the third problem I keep running into is the emotion. Everything that AI generated fiction is turned out to be 11. People don't just disagree, they explode. They do not just worry, they tremble with a violent anxiety. In detective novels, especially in classic Agatha Christie The Stormy Mountain Vela setup, you don't want a character expressing everything dramatically. You want restraints. You want people saying, I'm fine, but actually they're not. You want a detective to notice the absence of reaction. That actually reminded me something of a Korean author once said. She said that one thing that AI cannot replace is that 2 seconds of hesitation before a person speaks. When humans hear something else pain, they pause, they falter, they weigh their word. In that hesitation, there's a guarded empathy, there's dignity, there's humility. Now I totally understand what she means. In detective fiction, the pause is the clue. The truth hide in those seconds of hesitation. When you are caught off the guard, there is quarter second where your eyes start around because you're trying to make something up, you're trying to lie. But AI will just write, he calmly said. AI doesn't understand the silence, and the silence sometimes means everything. AI only understands the output, so every character performs their emotion in the full bliss, which in a mysteries is the fattest way to hide nothing, and it's the fattest way to reveal everything. Fourth, I'm not sure if this is only in Chinese, maybe English speaker you guys can comment more, but I do see AI love certain pattern. For example, it is not A, but it is B. It is not the fear great part, it is the cold certainty. He did not hesitate out of a cowardice, it is from a careful calculation. Every single time. It's like AI think denying first make things deeper. But when you read 20 of them in a row, the pattern became painfully obvious. Real writers vary their sentence rhythm. They use fragment where they end sentence where it shouldn't be end. But AI cannot break their own grammar without falling apart. So default to this pseudo literature pattern that screams generative text. Finally, the deepest problem. Look, we all know about human nature is complex. Nobody's 100% good, nobody's 100% right. I know it sounds cliche, but the real question is, can you write it? And here is where AI falls apart. When I write a story, it doesn't start by observing people, because apparently they cannot. It starts with the idea. I need a murder, I need a killer, I need a victim, I need a detective. Then it creates characters to fall into this slot. The characters are built backward from the plot need, not from a human nature. So what happens? The killer automatically becomes a cruel killer. The victim, of course, a tragedy victim. The detective, genius. And they do not grow into people. They just check into their assigned label. The AI has idea and the character unconsciously fell into their label seats. What about a real writer? You might start with the idea too, but then you watch your character. You let them speak. You let them surprise you. Maybe the killer turned out to be a gentle, even a philosophy. Maybe the victim is actually a devil itself. Part of you think they had it coming. Maybe the detective is brilliant at solving cases, but a disaster in his own life. Think about the detective we love. Sherlock Holmes, the high-functional sociopath with a cocaine habit. Hercule Poirot, I'm not sure if I pronounced right, I'm sorry, Agatha. The Belgian refugee whose vanity is his armor. Kirk Wallander, depressed and divorced, solving murder while his own life collapsed. Those contradictions, they come from observing human nature, the things AI simply cannot do. So yeah, human nature is complex, sounds like a cliche, but when you're actually writing, you feel the differences between a character who surprises you and a character who just computes correctly. And unfortunately, AI does the second one. So back to the original question, between Gemini and Kimi 3, which one is better? Here is my honest breakdown. Gemini is good for head work. I use Gemini to polish my idea, to figure out the killing method, to check the chemical knowledge if poison is involved. I even asked Gemini to play my character. I will say something like, "You're the killer, talk to me." And it helped me to brainstorm my idea and dialogue. For research and logic, Gemini is a solid partner. Kimi 3 is better for actual writing, at least in Chinese. The language is more delightful, less rigid. The memory issue, from my experience, is better than Gemini. I can ask Kimi 3 to be my writing coach, polish my writing rhythm, generate a plot timeline, help me to pick the right word. When it comes to craft sentence, Kimi 3 is my best. But Kimi 3 has a massive problem: the censorship. When my prompt contains words like poison, killer, money laundry, corpse, something like that, Gemini 3 will be like, "Sorry, I cannot provide the answer." Even I change the subject later in the same chat, it still refused to answer me. It's like the system got triggered and locked the whole conversation. For a murder mystery writer, this is sort of a nightmare. So neither one is perfect, but both are helpful. So let's back to the original question. Can AI replace us? Can AI write the long detective novel? My answer is no, and it's not that not yet type of no. It is no as long as stories still matter to us. Of course, AI can help you to write emotional list, code, email, business plan, you name it, but literature is different. You find yourself for people you know through your character. You talk to your character, you resonate with the plot, with the story. And a good mystery is never really about murder itself. Think about Agatha. It reflects humanity, culture, and society, and all those come together to the final death. I still appreciate that AI polished my English script as I record it right now. It helped me to brainstorm my idea, to translate my language, but an 80,000 word novel that resonates with people's deepest heart, I'm sorry, AI cannot just generate according to prompt. It cannot just snip the finger and here you go. So the novelists are still needed, and writing is more important than ever. Thank you for watching the video, and please follow us.